Are you looking to have a better walk with your dog? If you are, here are 5 things you can do right now. You can start today. You don't have to have months and months working up to this point. 5 things you can start today to hopefully have a better walk. Let's try them. First thing you're going to do is, and these are in no specific order, but the 5th one is probably the most one. I can't even say it's the most important, but maybe. So number 1, the walk starts before you leave the house. The walk does not start after you leave the house. The walk starts as soon as you pull out the tools to go on a walk. The leash, the collars, whatever you're putting on them. You're working in calm energy. You're trying to work in calm energy. That's your goal, calm energy. I like to, before I go out on a walk with my dogs and put their tools on, I like to put them on place first. They get all their tools on while they're sitting on place, so that we're not having a physical argument in the house trying to put the tools on. And usually it's from excitement. So we have to work on that excitement from the very get-go. We pull the tools out, we're working on the excitement. Once the dog is calm, you put the tools on. So that's the beginning of the walk. And then lo and behold, those thresholds. This is number 1. All this impulse control, right? Impulse control of putting on the tools, impulse control of walking out the door. Whenever you change a threshold or change an activity, you have to make sure you go into that activity in a calm manner. So if they're bolting out the front door, that is how the rest of your walk is going to go. So if it takes you 20 minutes to get out the front door, don't be frustrated, because this is the teaching moments. You can't teach once you're out the front door if you walk out the front door in a hyper energized state, because their nervous system is already dysregulated. So we need everything to regulate before we leave the house. So we need a calm dog before we leave the house. That is number 1. You can do it. Number two, stop rewarding your dog pulling on the end of the leash. So see it all the time. People are walking with their arm extended out in front of them, and the dog 6 feet to God knows how long if you use a flexi leash out in front of you. Saw a woman crossing the street the other day. I saw her. I did not see her little dog on the end of the flexi leash, a good 10 feet in front of her. And all I thought was, if I don't see you, other people don't see you, and I'd hate for something terrible to happen to your dog. So our dogs do walk and heel whenever we're out in public. That's just my expectation. So no pulling on a leash. How that starts, we've already did number 1. So number 2 is stop rewarding the pull. So by that, I mean, if they're pulling forward and you continue to move forward, you are rewarding the pull. You're telling them that this pressure of pulling forward means keep pulling forward if you don't do something about the pressure. So yes, you can correct the pressure. You can turn in a different direction. You can speed your walk up, slow your walk down by changing your gait. So a lot of tricks and tips that you can do to stop the pull, but you have to stop the pull. You can't continue the pull and then expect your dog to understand that they're not supposed to pull, because you just spent 20 minutes allowing them to pull and getting frustrated, and you go home and your arm is sore, right? Your arm is sore, your neck is sore, your back is sore. And a lot of us can get pulled down by our dogs. I don't know how many clients, I lost count. There's so many of people who have been pulled down and broken a limb because their dog pulled them. It's simply because their dog did not understand that expectation. They didn't do it on purpose. We all know that. Okay, so that was number 2, stop rewarding the pull. A big one, number three, you need to master your engagement with your dog. You are not going to master, you're not going to get them to engage with you outside of your house if they're not engaging with you in the house. I'm going to say that again. You are not going to get engagement with your dog outside of your house if you don't get engagement with your dog in your house. Plain and simple. So we do a lot of inside games that are engagement games. Now, when you're teaching an engagement game with your dog, it needs to be quiet. You need to stop talking. Stop talking. I don't teach a look at me, 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 because I think it's obnoxious. I teach look at me silently. So when they look at me, they get rewarded versus me telling them to look at you. Because when you're out of your door and you're like, look at me, 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 and they are looking at a squirrel, they don't give a crap about you because you condition them to look at you with the words look at you, and they're not listening. That reward of chasing that squirrel is much higher than your reward of looking at you because you told me to look at you. Instead, we work on games. So I might have food in both my hands. I might be sitting here with food in both my hands and the dog is in front of me in a sit. I like to use a command. So they might be sitting. As soon as they look at me, because they're going to be drooling and looking at the food in my hands. So as soon as they actually take their eye contact off the food, might take 10 seconds, might take 30 seconds, might take 3 minutes. It's patience. We're teaching them a game. We're teaching them how to play the game. And the game is to look at you. So as soon as they look at you, boom, they get the reward of the food. It's not looking at the food that they're getting reward for. They're getting it to make eye contact with you. We also use a marker. So we use yes when they look at me. So if they look at me, I'm going to say yes, I'm going to feed. Yes, feed. Yes, feed. And then the eye contact can get longer and longer. That's just one of a bunch of games that we play with dogs to get eye contact here. But we are working on organic eye contact, not off a word, but off them understanding to look at me. How that transfers into the real world is that if you get it inside your house, then you start adding distraction, and then they're looking at you. Distraction, so they might look at the distraction, then they're looking at you because they know that they're getting what they want. Now, for dogs who are not food motivated, most dogs want to eat. Very few dogs don't want to eat at some point. So for us, we just use their normal daily food when we're feeding them in playing these games with them. So we play the games that this game of got to make eye contact with you. We just play it with their normal food. We don't use high value stuff for that game because if you always use high value, then you always have to use higher value. You're always constantly trading. People who trade don't look at me or don't look at the squirrel, look at me, but they're trading up in value. The value is just going to keep going up and up. So we don't do that. Just doesn't work. I don't find for long-term doesn't work. So that was number 3. You got to get engagement. How are you going to get engagement? Work on that eye contact in the house so that then you can get it through distractions. Number 4, walk with purpose. I can't tell you how many clients we work on this. We actually have Saturday pack walks for our groups. We go out as a pack, but walking with purpose. Somebody has got to be leading that walk. You can even walk on a trail just being like, yeah, we're going to go, who knows which direction we're going to go. But you have to know when you get to that crossroads, right? You can't just stand there, look around with you and your dog. Everybody's looking around like, where the hell are we going? Like, you have to know where you're going. You have to walk like you know where you're going. Sometimes I have no idea where I'm going, but nobody around me knows that I have no idea where I'm going. They all think I know where I'm going. Know where you're going. Walk with purpose. That is number 5. Probably this is the one I see most people, when I think of walking in a calm walk, this is where I see most people really, unfortunately, fail, is you need to learn to correct fairly and be consistent with it, where you're not just like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. That's when I see people correct, often they've missed the first 4 steps, and then their walk is constantly cranking and yanking. So they're always going, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. If you find yourself out on a walk, kind of anything, but we're talking about walks here, but if you find yourself out on a walk and you're constantly telling your dog, no, don't do it. No, don't do that. No, don't go there. No, quit it. Not all this stuff. Take a breath. You're doing too much. You've gone too far, too fast with your dog. Slow yourself down, get back to your house, and start practicing all these other things first. It is not fun to sit and be like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Or constantly turning another direction, avoidance. These are the biggest things that I see. Avoiding something is correcting something, is a way of correcting it. It can be a punisher. I don't want you to constantly avoid and block. I can't tell you how many people come in to start working with me and a distraction comes up, and instead of teaching the dog to regulate their nervous system and work through that distraction, Instead of doing that, what they actually do is they just block the distraction. They think if I close my blinds and block it with my body and don't go out during those periods of time, that'll be the solution. But it's never the solution. It's never the solution. It's a stressor on you and it's a stressor on your dog. So correct your dog fairly and firmly. You got to correct, but they have to know what they're supposed to be doing once you're out on the walk. So they have to know the expectations so that you're not just like, quit it, stop it. No, don't do it. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted for you and I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Okay, now just to recap those 5 things. Number 1, start your walk before you leave the house. Number 1, start your walk before you leave the house. That's all I can say. Number 2, stop rewarding the pull. Quit it, stop it. It's foolish. Number 3, the art of engagement. Really working on engagement with your dog before you need engagement with your dog. So you're teaching them a skill before you ever actually need that skill. Number 4, walk with purpose. Don't walk out like you're walking out the door, peeking around the corners, although we all do it. Even if you do it like you know that you're doing it. Like stand tall, do it. And number 5, correct fairly but firmly, but be fair about your corrections. Don't just correct and no, don't do it and get frustrated. Be fair. Be fair. Hope this helps. See you guys next time.